Tonight on News 5 Live, the function of the High Court is stalled yet another day. Is it an apparent sick-out, or are the prosecutors from the DPP's office genuinely ill? Today is National Service Day. A wreath is laid in remembrance of the father of the nation. And the AG says one more month to conclude the investigation of Andrew Perez. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
My beautiful Belize, my land of the free, my home and it's bound by the Caribbean Sea. Belize, we are free and independent, we're free and independent, free and independent, to be whatever you wanna be, free and independent, we're free and independent, free and independent, we're changing our country, we're free, so make we celebrate with smart, come celebrate with smart, make we celebrate with smart. Let's celebrate with smart. So make we celebrate with smart. Come celebrate with smart. Make we celebrate with smart. Let's celebrate with smart.
The entire Smart family wishes all Belizeans a safe and happy September celebration. Smart, bringing people together.
Caribbean Sprinter is proud to offer our best available rates to Belize residents online at sprinter.bz. Register today for our Sprinter Rewards program located on the resident section of our website. Skip the line when you book online with online check-in.
My Social Security is your secure online account to manage all your Social Security information. My Social Security launched in March 2021 with registration service to apply online for new or replacement Social Security cards. Upgrades to My Social Security continues with a new look, enhanced customer experience, and its newest feature, Sickness Benefit Online Application. With My Social Security, You can create your account, log in, and take control of your social security information. This includes applying for a new or replacement social security card for yourself, child, or dependent. Make appointments online and submit your complete sickness benefit claim package. Our customer care team is here to provide you, our valued customers, with real-time support. Connect with one of our customer care agents through direct messages on WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, or live chat, or follow our YouTube channel for more information. Social Security at your fingertips. My Social Security.
What's good, man? It's your boy Reggie Kush back. I'm pulling up to the Belize Civic Center September 30th to rock out, man. We finna do stand-up comedy at its highest level, man. I'm looking forward to it. See y'all out there. Peace. Bye.
Give them fire for that comedy show. I want you.
Every year, World Environment Day is celebrated on June 5, and the Department of the Environment, within the Ministry of Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Management, joins the nation of Belize and other United Nations member countries in worldwide awareness and action to protect our environment, with this year's theme being to beat plastic pollution. We have seen the effects of climate change, now exacerbated by the effects of plastic pollution, primarily from single-use plastics. The Ministry, through the auspices of the Department of the Environment, has enacted the pollution from plastics regulation in 2020, noting that single-use plastics is of high environmental concern. This regulation sought to curb the environmental impacts associated with single-use plastics and to better promote green alternatives, which resulted in the development of national standards for biodegradable products.
The government of Belize, through the Department of Environment, has been controlling and enforcing these regulations to ensure that we protect Belize from the threats of plastic pollution. In so doing, nationwide market surveillance and product sampling has been conducted, resulting in enforcement actions which includes sale prohibition and confiscation of single-use plastics and styrofoam. The detrimental environmental impacts of single-use plastics are everyone's concern. The government calls upon all businesses, industries, civil societies, NGOs, and you, the citizens of Belize, to have civic pride and to help in the fight against plastic pollution and to further contribute to the national efforts in transitioning to a circular economy. Together, we can beat plastic pollution. Happy World Environment Day.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Tuesday, September 19th. I am Sabrina Daly. 35-year-old Jared Rangai, accused of killing his parents and his sibling in November of 2012, was scheduled to appear before the High Court today for a case management conference. But, like other matters that have been scheduled for the start of the October session, Rangai's case has been adjourned to a later date. That's because 5 Crown counsels attached to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions have been absent from work for a second consecutive day. On Monday, those attorneys called in sick effectively bringing to a standstill the function of the judiciary, where criminal matters are concerned. As it stands, the courts are already saddled with a backlog of cases, some going as far back as 10 years ago. For a second day, DPP Sherilyn Vidal returned to the High Court, where she appeared this time before Justice Nigel Pilgrim and requested an adjournment in the matter concerning Rangay. It was another disappointment for the relatives of Robert Veos Sr., Karen Skeen, and their daughter, Tina Skeen. They traveled from the United States to sit on the hearing and have been persistent in their call for justice. A few months ago, on July 19th, Rene Skeen, a sibling of the deceased husband, sat down with News 5 to express his frustration with the constant adjournments.
This November 25th makes it 11 years. And after being through some 17 court appearance, 7 attorneys, 2 judges, we're still at the same spot as of 11 years ago. However, the last case we attended about 3 months or so ago, my nephew Jared, who was in remand, requested the new attorney, which was then Godfrey Smith. He offered to do the case. He requested 3 months to prepare for the case. The case was supposed to start, I think, June 28th. We went to court and he requested 3 more months. So now the case is set to start October 10th. At this point, the way the family feels is that justice delayed, justice denied. It's not about just not us, the family, the surviving family, but the 3 victims. It becomes a point where we feel like Jared, who allegedly committed these murders, is manipulating the system, and it's working on his behalf. Justice for, like I said, my sister Karen, my niece Tina, and my brother-in-law Robert. Justice for them. That's the most important thing at this point. However, what I want to see, or what we want to see, we want to see him found guilty and spend the rest of his life in jail. That's what we want to see.
That's the immediate impact of Crown Counsels being missing from work for the past 2 days. As we've previously reported, their absence coincides with the start of the October session of the High Court. Prior to the sick-out, however, the dissatisfaction of many, as 11 prosecutors, had been relayed to Attorney General Anthony Sylvester when he assumed office back in July. Those concerns had to do with security, or security allowances, not being provided. It also had to do with them not being paid proportionately to their respective responsibilities. But is their absence a mere coincidence, or is it a deliberate act to send a stern message? When asked earlier today, Attorney General Anthony Sylvester told the reporters that he believes wholeheartedly that prosecutors are indeed sick.
There are a couple Crown Counsel who called in sick yesterday. Now, speaking for myself,
5. A couple is 2.
5. Thank you for that correction. I take that at face value, and I believe that is genuine. I mean, Crown Counsels, as you know, they are officers of the Crown, no less. They are ministers of justice, and certainly I would not think that any of our Crowns would misrepresent the state of affairs with respect to their health. And so I take at face value that those who called in sick are indeed sick. Secondly, I should point out that there are some inaccuracies with respect to what is ventilating in the media. Currently, there are, whilst you have persons have called in sick, there are presently Crowns and there are presently other persons who are ensuring that the business of the court continues. And I should point out as well that we are in constant communication, and actually we are in dialogue with the Crown. We have a further meeting. So speaking for myself, it being a matter of an employer and employee relationship, certainly it affects there's a public interest in it, but it's a continuing dialogue, and we are in fact supposed to have a meeting on Friday. So as I indicated earlier, I don't regard this as a sick out. I regard this as the Krongs legitimately sending sick, calling in and indicating that they're sick.
Of the 11 attorneys working out of the DPP's office, 5 of them are out sick. That's roughly 50% of the staff from that department that is absent from work. Despite the presence of 6 prosecutors on Monday and Tuesday, DPP Vidal has had to request adjournments on matters before the High Court. That notwithstanding, Attorney General Sylvester does not recognize the apparent sick-out as a form of industrial action. Instead, he acknowledges the complement of prosecutors as the reason for the effective function of the judiciary.
While that may be true, as you would appreciate, so that is the reason why you have so many Krongs, because there are measures that can be put in place and are being put in place presently to ensure that the work of the court continues.
But importantly, you don't see it as industrial action.
I don't see it as industrial action.
It's unprecedented, though, that so many councils would be absent on one given day. Does this speak to a bigger issue in terms of we need more?
So there are available Krongs who can step in, and I won't go any further, but simply to say that we have a full complement of persons who are able to provide the service of the Krongs at the DPP's office.
So what is being done to address the issues that was raised in that letter, which seems to be, according to the reports we're receiving, the basis of this, what you view to not be industrial action, which is pay compensation for work done, seeking a raise in that, as well as the issue concerning security. What are being done? What actions are being taken to address these issues?
So, as I've indicated, so when the letter was first sent, we met with the Krongs and representatives of the Krong on 2 occasions, and they were healthy meetings, and those meetings continue, and this is the reason why, speaking for myself, I cannot see or regard persons sending notices that they're sick as an industrial action.
Despite being pressed on the matter of whether the concerted absences are a sick-out, Attorney General Sylvester held his ground. On the issue of whether concerns regarding the just compensation of prosecutors have been addressed, the AG also maintains that security, as well as compensation, has been dealt with by his ministry.
It is clear that the event was timed. Let's call it what it is. It was timed to coincide with the official opening of the court. And it was timed to undermine the functioning of the DPP's office. The DPP had to be shuttling between courtrooms yesterday.
And I'm saying again that I cannot conceive that Krongs, officers of the Krong, ministers of justice, will deliberately seek to undermine the work of the court. I cannot conceive of that.
But they cannot conceive that you all would leave such an important matter in abeyance that is their personal security. That is what they're saying. It is inconceivable that the government would not tend to the prosecutors who have to deal with the criminals.
No. That is far from the actual fact. The issue with respect to security has been addressed. I have spoken to both the Commissioner of the Police and as well as the DPP, and issues relating to security have been addressed.
Have they been satisfactorily addressed or addressed to your satisfaction?
The issues of security have been addressed.
To mutual satisfaction?
The issues of security have been addressed. As I indicated, we are still in dialogue.
And for compensation, you're saying that has been addressed as well?
I'm saying that we're still in.
Coming up, the 12th Annual National Service Day wreath-laying ceremony. We'll have more details when we come back.
Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "For we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, we have a building of God, a house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. President John Quincy Adams, at the age of 80, was asked by a friend how he was. President Adams said, "John Quincy Adams himself is quite well, sir, but the house in which he lives at present is becoming dilapidated. It is tottering upon its foundations. Time and the seasons have almost destroyed it. Its roof is worn out, its walls are much worn, and it crumbles with every wind. The old tenement is becoming almost uninhabitable, and I think that John Quincy Adams will have to move out of it pretty soon. But he himself is well, sir, quite well." You know, to the Christian, death is like moving from one house to another. While we may leave the house of our earthly sojourn with sadness, yet we move with gladness. In this new home, the blind will see, the deaf will hear, the speech impaired will speak, the crippled will stand, the paralyzed will walk, and the devastating diseases of humanity will lose its power as we are given the title deed to this home that will never deteriorate. Faith in Jesus Christ can give to you this blessed assurance. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Cut the cords. Choose efficiency with Axix Switch technology. Only at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Atlantic Insurance informs our valued customers and the general public that our corporate headquarters and Belcan branch have been relocated. Our new location, the Atlantic Insurance Tower, located at 2.5 miles Philip Golson Highway. All our phone numbers remain the same. Our Collet and Albert branches will remain at their existing locations. Join the Atlantic Insurance family today and experience the future of insurance. Atlantic Insurance, insuring you from life's unexpected.
Enjoy more of your favorite social media platforms with Digi's new prepaid social media plans. Experience social connectivity like never before. Choose from 3 amazing plans starting as low as $3.50. With up to 4 times more any use data and tons of social media data in each plan, you get more value for your money. Only with Digi can you enjoy unlimited social media access with the Social Pro plan. Prepaid mobile customers, it's time to be social. Like more, chat more, and post more. Dial star 700 pound to purchase, or purchase from your Digi wallet or visit the DigiGo app. Try Digi's new social media data plans today. Digi, our national telecom.
We are not going to sit down and allow him or anybody else to walk over us and take away our rights.
David Gegg is no stranger to building projects no one asked for. Projects the people don't want.
David Gegg plans to build a multi-million-dollar marina, restaurant, bar, gas station and 3-story office complex, and residents say they'll stop at nothing to ensure he doesn't get it.
No way, Mr. Gegg, may God take you away from him. You got to move on, Mr. Gegg, because it won't be nice if you come here. The people are going to retaliate, and then you will lose more than what you're, and then you walk over us while you all grab and sweep with all your greed. You can keep the smirk on your face with all your millions, but it is not going to be easy.
The world is changing, my dear. The city is changing, and you got to change with it.
Back then, just like today, he was able to get environmental approval from the then PUP government.
The ambitious project has gotten the green light from the Department of Environment to proceed with construction.
And back then, just like today, he did not own the land he was building on.
Gegg doesn't own the land, but rather the 3,333 square yards which has been designated as a reserve mangrove area.
And this wasn't even the first time David Gegg tried to take Belize's natural heritage all for himself.
David Gegg hoped to transform 33 miles of the reef into a park. That portion of the reef would be protected by exclusive rights of access and a 25-year monopoly.
Sound familiar? He was not successful in 2004 or 2007. And now that his party is back in power, he's trying to take it all for himself again. David Gegg, bad for business, bad for Belize.
"13 years after the death of the father of the nation, the Right Honorable George Price, at the age of 92, continues to be held in high regard. One of the annual events held in his remembrance is the National Service Day wreath-laying ceremony. As has been done in years past, the ceremony was held at his gravesite at the Lord Ridge Cemetery, with a large gathering of Belizeans in attendance. News 5's Paul Lopez reports.
Diane Mahia, the CEO in the Ministry of Education, stood in as a representative for the Governor General during the 12th annual wreath-laying ceremony for National Service Day. A host of other government officials, public officers, and the leader of the opposition, Moses Shine Barrow, also attended the event at the Lord Ridge Cemetery. Students from several primary schools, as well as the Belize High School, also participated in today's activity.
I was talking to Mr. Juan Carlos Dusan, who is one of the Publix owners and is a parishioner of mine at St. Martin's. And he told me this story. He said one time he had walked into Holy Redeemer Cathedral for the early 5 a.m. Mass back when they had it, and there was Mr. Price. And he would go to this Mass as a young man shortly after he had moved to Belize. He said it came time for the Eucharistic prayer when everybody kneels down, but he had some back problems, so he couldn't kneel down. So instead he just sort of did a little yoga pose kind of thing on the floor of the church. And afterwards, Mr. Price approached this young man and said to him, "Sir, this is a Catholic church. I don't know what you were doing, but we don't do that here." And Juan Carlos said to him in reply, "Well, I'm sorry, sir, but I actually have some back problems and I can't kneel down, so I was doing that instead, trying to be respectful." And Mr. Price just shakes his head, and keep in mind he's almost 90 years old at this point. He just shakes his head and he said, "You would think by my age I would have learned the most important words of Jesus, 'Judge not, lest ye be judged.' I still have some work to do before I die."
Halfway through the ceremony, the dark clouds that covered the skies above burst open, sending everyone scrambling for shelter, except for these soldiers who stood by Price's gravesite. Notwithstanding the rains, students from St. Luke's Methodist performed a brilliant rendition of the song "Welcome to Belize."
Far across the blue sea lies a land full of mystery. Feel the warmth of the shining sun, feel the cool of the breeze. Hear the sound of the rolling waves calling to you and me. Welcome to Belize.
Also, two of George Price's great-grandnieces from the Belize High School recited excerpts from two of his speeches.
Belizeans, unite to build our nation. Builders, why do you stand looking out to sea? Belizean builders, see the living beauty, the teeming bounty, the soul-moving glory. Look west, Belizean builders. See the shining mountains and the jeweled city of Mopan, radiating life and love and hope and joy. After all, the quickest and most efficient way to build the new nation of Belize is by using our own energies and conserving our assets.
As we build our new nation of Belize, it would be well for us to learn the lessons of history and thus to avoid errors and needless sufferings of the past. My government has the duty and the task to lead us, this country, to independence in a peaceful and bloodless manner, and thus to prove to history that Christian democracy's solution is right. It is right in that in unity there should be diversity, but first there should be unity. All should be of one mind concerning the fundamentals of nationhood, one identity, one nation, one constitution, one democracy.
In his keynote address, Deputy Prime Minister Colonel Hyde pondered what the Right Honorable George Price would say to Belizeans in 2023, if he was alive.
I often think about what he would say if he were living in these times. I believe he'd probably say a prayer for us, for this new beliefs where our parents can be too taken up with their own vanity, and our children too mindless consumers of the social media tragedy. This new beliefs where we are deeply divided and go at each other's throats in a New York minute, where oftentimes disagreements devolve into vicious takedowns and open violence, where our young men maim and kill each other at will. He'd say a prayer because he was a prayerful man. He'd pray to the Almighty to please protect and preserve Belize, our beloved country, that we be preserved in union and in peace, which the world itself cannot give.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
This afternoon in Belize City, to coincide with National Service Day, the newly concreted Pigstock Street, where Right Honorable George Price grew up and lived all his life, was inaugurated. The official opening of the street was done by Belize City Mayor Bernard Wagner and Fort George Area Representative Henry Charles Usher, the grandnephew of the father of the nation. Usher gave a brief history of the Price family home on Pigstock Street, as well as the significance of that address.
The Price family home has been here almost as long as the street was named. Originally 114 Pigstock Street, later renumbered number 3, the property was owned by Captain William Cadle Price, the father of George Price. He kept stables here and invested in race horses, right in there. Hard to imagine, isn't it? But few would know that the father of the nation was an avid fan of horse racing, more than likely influenced by his father. This was the only home that George Price ever knew. He lived here his entire life and still slept in the bed left to him by his father up until the time of his death. Unbelievable humility and discipline. You may be asking why we are going down this historical journey when we're here to open a street. But the reason I'm saying this on National Service Day, on the 12th anniversary of the passing of George Price, is because I believe that we must live his legacy. I believe that what he left us is national heritage. We must be able to preserve what George Price left us. And that's why it's important that we maintain and preserve the Price House for generations to come.
It really captures everything George Price is all about service. And not only the fact that his residence is on this street, but the main fact is about giving back to the people in this community.
A week ago, we brought you the images of a damaged Philip Golson bus after a drunken taxi driver rammed his cab into it at the base of the overpass adjacent to the roundabout on Freetown Road. The impact damaged the bus, and while the sculptor who created the artwork, Stephen Okeke, had previously said he wanted nothing to do with any of the artwork he has sculpted for public display, he has seemingly had a change of heart. Okeke has decided to make an exception in this case and accept a contract from the Ministry of Infrastructure, Development and Housing to repair the bust. This was after several persons reached out to him to ask that he repair the bust. But why is it important to have the sculpture repaired? Because, as Okeke told us, the bust is the image of a man who is a national hero, a man who should be respected. In the following story, News 5's Marian Ali takes a closer look at Philip Golson, the legend, the icon.
We have to continue to research whether, in fact, that law was not unconstitutional. in the sense that if we can prove that our territorial seat up the median line was covered by the Constitution, then the law may be challengeable in the court.
He is dubbed a Belizean hero, the father of Belizean democracy, and the JFK of Belize. And the news that the recently damaged bust of Philip Golson at the entrance to the highway that's named after him will receive the necessary repairs and refurbishment that it deserves is only fitting in this month of patriotism. Sculptor Stephen Okeke told News 5 that despite his initial sentiment, he has agreed to accept the contract to restore the bust to its previous condition. And he's doing it because of the respect for the man, Philip Golson.
In my view, Philip Golson can be said to be the J.F. Kennedy of Belize and the Caribbean, global, because he spoke immortal words. No other human being alive, from Adam and Eve up till now, has ever spoken. We are working towards getting it done again. I respect this man's memory, Philip Wilberforce Golson, because of who he represents to Belize, beyond what a lot of Belizeans are aware of. And Philip Golson said, whether you are a Briton, an Afghanistan, a Palestinian, a Mexican, an American, a Belizean, whether you are from any other country in the world, and you see things happening in your country you don't like, and you see things coming into your country you don't like, and you see things trying to disrupt the country you have always known, the time to save your country is before you lose it.
But Golson was respected for much more than just what he said. He was also a man of action. Historian Lawrence Vernon takes us back to the early 1950s when a young Philip Golson, jailed for sedition, still found a way to get his message out to the people.
He was the editor of the Billboard along with Lee Richardson. The Billboard was a daily newspaper at that time. And they were anti-colonialists, of course. So they wrote articles condemning the governor and whatnot, right? And so this specific article that was titled, there are two roads to independence, evolution and revolution. So they said, no, we are trying evolution. So that meant they inferred, the government at that time took it to refer to the next step is revolution. Yes. So they were tried and sentenced to, he and Lee Richardson, both of them as editors of the Belize Billboard, to 1 year hard labor in jail.
For sedition.
For seditious intent. When he was in jail, he educated some of the prisoners as to English language and whatnot, and he also smuggled out articles to the Belize Billboard. When his mother used to go and look for him, he would give his mother the articles written on toilet paper, and they were printed in the Belize Billboard.
It is actions like these and Golson's objection to colonialism and Guatemala's claim to Belize that puts him in the annals of Belizean history. As the director of the Institute of Social and Cultural Research, Rolanda Cocom, shares.
He was particularly known for his stance on the Guatemala issue. He felt very strongly that there should be very little to no negotiations with Guatemala, that Belize's sovereignty and territorial integrity must be protected at all costs, and he's especially known for seeking to disseminate information as soon as he got them about talks happening with the Belize delegation and the UK, for instance, and would seek to publish information.
Just as the stance that Golson took remains permanently etched in our history, so too will the efforts to have his bust protected from future accidents or vandalism going forward. Okeke suggests that stanchions be placed around the bust to prevent any damage. But the work to restore will include a series of tests before the repairs even begin.
We're going to have to take it back to the studio. We have to do some compression testing, cover the two sides differently and try compression testing to see if there are leakages or if you can see air coming out from anywhere. And before even you do that, you have to do drying. You have to do natural draft drying, and then you do artificial blast drying before you do the compression testing. After the compression testing, depending on if you find fissures or cracks, then you also do pressure filling from inside because of the kind of material.
The bust should be ready for re-unveiling in another 2 months. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
After the break, in this week's Culture Tuesday, a taste of Taiwanese cuisine. We'll tell you about that, but first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Are you ready to join the party of the century? Brody's is celebrating 136 years of serving our amazing community. And what other way to do it than with a bang? Yes! It's a big deal. From September 25th to October 1st, customers will be able to enjoy a full week of sale, deals, and promotions. Yes! An entire week. 10% off groceries and pharmaceuticals, 20% off department store items, appliances and electronics, up to 50% off selected items for the entire week, September 25th to October 1st. Make it a date and don't be late. See you there. Like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more prizes and surprises. We would like to thank our customers who have been with us throughout the years. It is an honor to have earned your trust and loyalty. Brody's, service, value, satisfaction.
We are not going to sit down and allow him or anybody else to walk over us and take away our rights.
David Gegg is no stranger to building projects no one asked for. Projects the people don't want.
David Gegg plans to build a multi-million-dollar marina, restaurant, bar, gas station and three-story office complex, and residents say they'll stop at nothing to ensure he doesn't get it.
No way, Mr. Gegg. May God take you away from him. You got to move on, Mr. Gegg, because you won't be nice if you come here. The people are going to retaliate, and then you will lose more than what's worth. And then you walk over us while you all grab and sweep with all your greed. You can keep the smirk on your face with all your millions, but it is not going to be easy.
The world is changing, my dear. The city is changing, and you got to change with it.
Back then, just like today, he was able to get environmental approval from the then PUP government.
The ambitious project has gotten the green light from the Department of Environment to proceed with construction.
And back then, just like today, he did not own the land he was building on.
Gegg doesn't own the land, but rather the 3,333 square yards which has been designated as a reserve mangrove area.
And this wasn't even the first time David Gegg tried to take Belize's natural heritage all for himself.
David Gegg hoped to transform 33 miles of the reef into a park. That portion of the reef would be protected by exclusive rights of access and a 25-year monopoly.
Sound familiar? He was not successful in 2004 or 2007. And now that his party is back in power, he's trying to take it all for himself again. David Gegg, bad for business, bad for Belize.
My beautiful Belize, my land of the free, my home and it's bound by the Caribbean Sea. Belize, we are free and independent, we're free and independent, free and independent, to be whatever you wanna be, free and independent, we're free and independent, free and independent, we're changing our country, we're free. So make we celebrate with smart, come celebrate with smart, make we celebrate with smart. Let's celebrate with smart. So make we celebrate with smart. Come celebrate with smart. Make we celebrate with smart. Let's celebrate with smart.
The entire Smart family wishes all Belizeans a safe and happy September celebration. Smart, bringing people together.
Artbox, Belize Arts and Crafts Center located at Mile 46 on the George Price Highway in Belmopan, was the stage for the 2023 Taiwan Cuisine Show. It featured a top chef from Taiwan and food tasting of signature dishes from various Taiwanese restaurants in Belize. One thing we found out is that cuisine transcends borders because some traditional Taiwanese dishes are similar to those in many of the cultures here in Belize. In tonight's Culture Tuesday, News 5's Dwayne Moody indulges in Taiwanese cuisine.
Wontons, dumplings, braised pork and rice are among the lists of Taiwanese foods and dishes that are enjoyed across the world, and in Belize it is no different. It is not to be confused with Chinese food, and there are many restaurants across the country that provide some of these authentic Taiwanese cuisines.
He made 4 signature dishes of the Taiwanese cuisine, but one of the one that stands out from traditional time is the braised pork meat on top of the rice. That is something like that's a childhood dish, that's a comfort food for most families. If you mention this name, they will know it. It's called Ru Rou Fan.
While the presentation of these traditional Taiwanese dishes was a nostalgic moment for Ambassador Lily Lee Wen-Shu, she says that there are similar but local variations of these foods in Belizean cultural dishes.
We help them to find the ingredients locally and put together some dishes that we feel really authentic and that can reflect what we Taiwanese like.
You know, you're saying that these are traditional Taiwanese cuisine, traditional Taiwanese food. but I'm seeing Belize in it as well.
Yes,
You know?
and that is absolutely right. Food transcends boundary, right? And good food, delicious food, everybody loves, and it binds us together. So this is really a way to use food as a medium to help a cultural exchange.
There was something for everyone, from veggie wontons, bubble milk tea, as well as spring rolls and dumplings.
It's a vegetarian restaurant. We offer all vegetarian cuisine, also vegan. If you're a vegan or vegetarian, you can stop by. Here, even though if you're not vegetarian, you won't miss meat. Yeah.
Located where and how has it been? When did you guys start up the business?
We started in 2010, but we were first in Forest Drive, and then we moved to behind Gallardo Hardware. We have spring rolls, we have fried noodles, dumplings. We do catering dishes as well. So if you have a group of people, you just have to let us know, and then we do the catering dish for you as well.
We offer a variety of Taiwanese style food. So it's different from the typical Chinese food that we know here in Belize. It's surprising to me because I do see a lot of people go there that are not Taiwanese and they really enjoy it.
Talk to us about the variety of the foods that you guys have. What types of?
Sorry, yes, first of all, we have the dumplings. We offer 7 different flavors. We have the vegetable, we have cabbage pork, curry chicken, spicy Thai pork, sweet corn pork, beef onion.
So that is something reminds me of my hometown. So it's a little bit of something that I would like to share where I grew up in Belize. I have been in Belize for the past 29 years, so this is my second home. So yeah, we have bubble milk tea, which is like a very popular drink in Taiwan. It's a little tapioca ball made of cassava. Yes.
Let's talk about the offerings that you guys have.
Okay, so yeah, bubble milk tea, and then we have jasmine tea. We offer all kinds of coffee from hot, ice, frozen, with caramel, mocha, chocolate, or sea salt caramel, and also we do fruit smoothies.
Also featured at the event was the Sheep and Goat Project, which is based in Central Farm. Stew lamb was prepared and served. It's a leaner, more sustainable and healthy meat source that can be purchased by farmers to improve the genetic makeup of their livestock.
Trying to promote lamb and mutton in Belize, try to let more Belizeans they know how they taste it good for this kind of meat, this kind of good protein source. So today we did the stew lamb that is made by our project assistant, Miss Cheryl. So the farmers can come to Central Farm, come to us to buy the good quality sheep and goat, then bring them back to your farm. Then you can use our good genetics to improve your farm.
And to season, I use onion, sweet pepper, cilantro, complete seasoning, consommé, black pepper, and ricotta.
That's it?
That's it.
And did you make it so tender though?
Well, when I first put it on the stove, I used some coconut oil in there. I put the meat in there, had it brown, and I leave it there for about 15 minutes, then I covered it for about 2 hours, then it got that soft.
Served with a pico de gallo and corn tortillas, I had to get a sample, and all I will say is I am now a fan of stew lamb. Dwayne Moody for News 5.
When we return, GOB sues former Minister of Lands for alleged misfeasance in office.
When you want to repaint the guest room, remember to fix the faucet too.
Take a break from rising prices and come into Brothers Habet or Habet and Habet for our sizzling September sale. Shop and save with these great deals, like 15% off select brands of our signature paints, and 20% off all Piso-Forte tiles and all cement outdoor tiles, plus big discounts on thinset. But it doesn't stop there. Get 15% off all Moen products and 30% off clearance models. Enjoy 15% off Sunlight aluminum and vinyl windows and doors. And get 20 to 60% off decorative light fixtures. Come on down and celebrate September with incredible deals at Brothers Habet and Habet and Habet. Call, WhatsApp, or email us for more info. Happy September, Belize.
We value your loyalty. Join our Sprinter Rewards program by contacting us today on the web at sprinter.bz and start earning points towards award travel. Sailing 5 or more segments a month gets you bonus points. So what are you waiting for?
What's up? It's your girl Kelly Kelson. I'm gonna be in the Civic Center in Belize. It is going down Saturday, September 30th. I am bringing the funniest people around the world to you. So Belize, make sure you get those tickets. It's going to be fire. Another one. Y'all know how I do it when I pull up. If you don't know, you need to be there Saturday, September 30th to get those. I can't wait to see y'all. Bye.
It's a fire for that comedy show. I want you.
Shop smart for your Samsung devices in Belize and enjoy benefits you won't get anywhere else. When you shop locally for your Samsung, all your devices will be covered by a 1-year local warranty. You won't get that when shopping with the other guys. When in doubt, always look for the Cellular World seal to know you're getting the real deal. Shop with confidence and enjoy your Galaxy knowing that it can be repaired locally at our Samsung Service Center by certified Samsung technicians using original parts and machinery. Even better, enjoy the best LTE experience in Belize knowing that your Samsung devices are compatible with major local carrier networks. Get the ultimate Samsung Galaxy experience only when you shop from authorized Samsung resellers nationwide.
Homeowners, immerse yourselves in elegance. Surround yourself with the beauty of one-of-a-kind, quality wood furniture. This is what America's elegant furniture and appliances has to offer. Trendy, affordable, and exceptional centerpieces, large mirrors, vanities, plush sofa sets, coffee tables, office furniture, exquisite mahogany bedroom sets, home decor, mattresses, and so much more. Shop our new reduced prices store-wide and get huge discounts daily. Our layaway and payment plans offer the lowest interest rates guaranteed. Our extensive catalog meets everyone's furniture needs, and if you can't find what you're looking for, then we'll custom make it for you. Shop at Mirka's and save. Mirka's, making your household dreams affordable.
A month has passed since Andre Perez, the Minister of Blue Economy and Civil Aviation, was granted a leave of absence from cabinet. The investigation into allegations of predatory behavior and sexual harassment brought against him by a female attorney continues. Today, reporters asked A.G. Sylvester for an update into the investigation. Here's what he had to say.
Fortunately, I would not be able to provide an update. Suffice it to say that it is ongoing, but we do appreciate that it has to be done in a very timely manner, and so that is taken into account, and it will be done within a timely manner.
A month has elapsed?
A month, a reasonably timely manner.
What do you consider timely?
I would regard as timely, perhaps a 2-month time frame.
Sir, have you all gotten to speak with Ms. Agzalu, with Mr. Perez?
I can't go into what has or have not been done. As you know, and I should have prefaced that my response by saying this. Whilst there is a talk about the investigation, quite properly, the only police really, engaging in investigation is more like a review, a legal review of the matter and the circumstances.
Are you legal reviewing text messages or sex messages?
I cannot at this point go into what is being reviewed, but suffice it to say there is a review of the, and of course it will be appreciated that within this context, a review would have to be conducted within what should perhaps be regarded as an appropriate code of conduct. We don't have that in Belize.
It is stated in the Constitution.
Yes,
though,
it is.
A code of conduct for cabinet ministers.
It is.
That you should not bring your office into disrepute.
Well, in the Constitution, yes, the Constitution speaks to, yes, that that certain conduct, and it also applies to public officers. But as I said, I mean, investigation is, the review, rather, sorry, is ongoing, and I can say that within 2 months that, you know, there should be, you know, a report that is provided to the Prime Minister.
The government of Belize has brought a lawsuit against former Minister of Natural Resources, Ugo Pat. The claim is for alleged misfeasance in office. The government believes that the former Deputy Prime Minister acted wrongfully in the execution of a land transaction in the Belama Phase 5 area. It is alleged that in September 2020, the then UDP administration acquired 26 acres of land in Belama at a cost of $6.5 million. The lands were acquired to create subdivisions for the residents of Collet. But 2 months later, just before the 2020 general election, what was then public lands were sold to Roosevelt Blades for an alleged $26,000. The former lands minister has refuted that figure, asserting that the lands were sold for $58,000. Pat also claimed that an idea was explored to put these lands in a trust for the people of Collet. For context, we revisit comments made in January 2021 by Cordell Hyde, the Minister of Natural Resources, inside the National Assembly on this matter.
On September 25th of 2020, the then government entered into a contract to pay a lady by the name of Barbara Harris Ware $6,067,000 for 26 acres of land in the Belama area, pure mangrove, for $6 million. The government then proceeds to subdivide the land into 5 big parcels and further attempt to subdivide these lands into 130 house lots. But elections was fast approaching and time was running out. So the fellas over there, instead of issuing the lots to 130 individuals or leaving the land to distribute for whoever emerges as the victorious party, decide to send the $6 million land to a former UDP senator and campaign manager for the member of Collet. Not for $6 million, or $5 million, or $4 million, or 3, or 2, or $1 million. Those 26 acres of land that the government paid $6 million for was sold for $26,000. And they weren't done there. The original parcel of land owned by Mrs. Ware comprised 39.49 acres of land. Government bought 26 acres of that land and then gave her title for the remaining 13.49 acres as part of the settlement agreement. She got her title November 5th of 2020. But the following day, November 6th, 2020, the Lands Department issued a purchase approval for the same 13.49 acres to one Roosevelt Blades. So it's not bad enough that Mr. Blades got an opportunity to buy the $6 million land for not $26,000 but $33,000, the 26 acres of Belama land. He had to get the other 13 acres for which the lady had already gotten title. It's insanity on stilts. But there's a saving grace, Madam Speaker, because Mr. Blades never did complete the payments for the 6 parcels of land that comprise the 26 acres and 13.49 acres. He only paid about $7,500 of the purchase price. So, Madam Speaker, Mr. Blades can come back for his money. Or someone over there can pick up the money for him. Or if they're ashamed to do either, then we can mail it to him, or deposit it to him, or wire transfer it to him. But that land, he is not getting his paws done.
According to Attorney General Anthony Sylvester, the proprietors of the company who purchased the lands in November 2020 brought a lawsuit against the government of Belize. As a result, GOB filed a countersuit for damages to the tune of $6 million. So, that is a suit against the former Minister of Lands, Hugo Pat, for alleged misfeasance in office, and another against the company that purchased the lands. AG Sylvester told us more.
Huge tracts of land, which there was a company, the principals, Mr. Blades, who had acquired these lands. These lands were sold to them.
These are Crown lands?
Well, at the time they were acquired by, yes, they were Crown lands. But here's the thing. Before they became Crown lands, they were compulsory acquired at an exorbitant sums. Like, I mean, the compensation was in excess of millions of dollars. And these lands, having been acquired for public purpose, it was said, they were later sold for
private developers.
Private developers for sums less than $100,000. So, the consequence of that, the government has been reviewing the matter for some time, and claiming misfeasance has been brought as against
Hugo Pat?
Against former Minister of Natural Resources Hugo Pat, as well as the company, because the company interestingly sued government, because government said, listen, man, you get this, but really and truly, the way in which it was gotten, there are circumstances which is a shroud of, to put it, mildly, impropriety. Right. They brought a claim, and the government, in response, said, okay, well, then we will counter sue. We'll bring a claim for damages for what the Belizean people and the government would have lost when the land, which was compulsory acquired for millions of dollars, was in turn sold to this third party for pittance.
How much is the quantum of the suit? 6 million?
Yes, it's 6 million.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade and Immigration held its annual diplomatic brief earlier today at the Leigh Richardson Building in Belmopan. During the hour-long presentation, Foreign Minister Eamon Courtney touched on a number of issues of national importance, including the state of the economy.
We hope in this presentation to share with you some of the challenges we face. I will return, of course, to the presentation made by Mr. Manzanero, because it has very serious security consequences for us, as well as environmental challenges. I will also seek to define for you some of our objectives and to look at what are the things that we have very high on our agenda for the rest of the year. Let us start first by taking a look at the economy. For the first quarter of 2023, economic growth was very significant, over 11%, very high for the Caribbean, very high for the Central American region. Of course, we have to bow to Guyana, which has over 50% economic growth in 2023. Our economic growth is driven primarily by services and the activities as we rebound from the COVID epidemic. We are talking about tourism, financial services, retail sales, and construction and manufacturing drive, by and large, the recovery.
Almost 3 months have passed since Oceana submitted 22,000 signatures to the Governor General in Belmopan. The petition is to trigger a referendum before the moratorium on offshore drilling is ever lifted. By law, those signatures should have already been reviewed and either verified or denied. But the matter is now with the Attorney General's ministry, which has written to Oceana stating the government's position on signatures. It is not clear what GOB's position is, but back in August, Attorney General Anthony Sylvester said elsewhere that the government is seeking legal advice. So, why is GOB seeking legal advice when the AG is its chief legal officer? And what really is the holdup? Here is how AG Sylvester responded to those questions from reporters.
It is not floating the referendum law. Yes, so the Attorney General's ministry is the chief legal advisor. So the Attorney General, myself, I don't necessarily sit and draft all opinions. So within the Attorney General's ministry, there are prongs who would research and advise on these matters. I would review their advice, and if the advice is what having regard to my own research, then based on that, then we provide the advice. But let me say this, Oceana and the government, we are in discussion.
But is there an equivocation in the law that it allows you to seek legal counsel? Does it say that? Does it say you have time to review by the government's lawyer?
What I will say is this, Oceana, lawyers for Oceana and the government, we are in discussion. We don't want to prejudice any discussion that's taking place, but I do believe that within the next week or so, Cabinet hasn't, well, today would have been Cabinet will meet next week. I had a meeting with the lawyer for Oceana, Mrs. Jacqueline Marshall, the Senior Counsel, on Friday. We'll receive some indication as it relates to a way forward, a proposal. Well, in turn, that will be submitted for Cabinet. So next week, we'll be able to give some definitive answer as it relates to that.
But you guys are frustrating a democratic process.
No, we are not. We are not. We are not. We are having a discussion. We are having negotiations with Oceana.
But the law doesn't make provision for that. Well, either you certify the signatures or you decertify them.
That is your interpretation, and respectfully, we disagree. The government disagrees.
Up next, Army Band from Louisiana and BDF Band hold mini concert.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times, and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Keycaulker, San Pedro, and Belize City are just a click away with Caribbean Sprinter. Avoid delays by getting your tickets and boarding passes online at sprinter.bz, and welcome aboard.
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
We are not going to sit down and allow him or anybody else to walk over us and take away our rights.
David Gegg is no stranger to building projects no one asked for. Projects the people don't want.
David Gegg plans to build a multi-million-dollar marina, restaurant, bar, gas station, and 3-story office complex, and residents say they'll stop at nothing to ensure he doesn't get it.
No way, Mr. Gegg. May God take you away from him. You got to move on, Mr. Gegg, because it won't be nice to come here. The people are going to retaliate. and then you will lose more than 140, and then you walk over us while you all grab and sweep with all your greed. You can keep the smirk on your face with all your millions, but it is not going to be easy.
The world is changing, my dear. The city is changing, and you gotta change with it.
Back then, just like today, he was able to get environmental approval from the then PUP government.
The ambitious project has gotten the green light from the Department of Environment to proceed with construction.
And back then, just like today, he did not own the land he was building on.
GEG doesn't own the land, but rather the 3,333 square yards which has been designated as a reserve mangrove area.
And this wasn't even the first time David GEG tried to take Belize's natural heritage all for himself.
David GEG hoped to transform 33 miles of the reef into a park. That portion of the reef would be protected by exclusive rights of access and a 25-year monopoly.
Sound familiar? He was not successful in 2004 or 2007. And now that his party is back in power, he's trying to take it all for himself again. David GEG, bad for business, bad for Belize.
With NextGen, every day is a chance to explore the wonders of the digital world, providing a reliable connection to make learning fun, to turn ordinary moments into extraordinary adventures, to discover new passions and exciting new worlds together. Unlock a world of possibilities at home with the fastest, most affordable high-speed internet and entertainment plans. NextGen, the ultimate digital experience.
Today was National Service Day, and it coincided perfectly for the staff at NICH, who partnered with the visiting 156th Army Band from Louisiana and the Belize Defense Force Band to put off a mini concert for children of Stella Maris School. This is the band's second visit to Belize to celebrate our Independence Day with the BDF Band. News 5 stopped by the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts this afternoon, where the event was in full swing. We spoke with the band leaders of the two militaries and Kim Vasquez, who is the director of the Institute of Creative Arts.
What we did here today was to host a special performance for children that was not only a little concert, but also teaching them about music instruments and about the message behind Belize's theme for independence this year. It was a really enriching afternoon. Yes, the band will be performing they performed this morning at the wreath laying ceremony. They will be out at Memorial Park for flag raising and then up in Belmopan for the official ceremony marking Independence Day.
Our little mission that we had today was to provide some music to the Belize children. And basically we had our jazz combo come out today, and they performed several numbers and just tried to give them some excitement during this celebration of Belize independence.
So you had music like from what era, what artist, what band?
Yeah, we had everything from, I believe, James Brown, let's see, just all kinds of different, a lot of Louisiana tunes that we brought in, New Orleans style. A lot of jazz.
And the reception from them?
The reception was amazing. The kids were excited. They were on their feet. They were clapping. They had a great time. And when they had a great time, we had a great time, of course.
We had to get things that were very interactive, very exciting, something that we can have some participation with. And so we chose songs like James Brown. We brought some Louisiana flavor down because we do a lot of partying in Louisiana in certain times like Carnival. And so we brought some of our Carnival and our happy music down to Belize so they can kind of dance with us.
There is a partnership between the Louisiana National Guard and the Belize Defense Force. Every September celebrations now, we are pleased, we are very thankful to have the United States government sponsoring Louisiana National Guard Band, the 156, to actually come and to support, amalgamate, join with the Belize Defense Force Band. So we come together as a mass band and we perform throughout the September celebrations.
And just in case you were marveling at the performance of the Belize Defense Force Band at the September 10 ceremony, Today we were briefed that military bands like the BDF Band are much more than a marching band. In fact, there will soon be a diversification of musical military band performances for your musical pleasure. Today, the BDF Band Director, Major Kevin Campbell, explained that the BDF Band will have 4 ensembles, and these include a marimba, a garifuna, a mestizo, and a steel band ensemble for different events.
When you talk about the 156th Army Band, they're not only that marching or ceremonial band, but they can split up into different ensembles. And the Belize Defense Force Band is going in that same direction, in that we had a volunteer band before, and now government has decided to establish a full-time band, so we will have a regular band, and we are looking to set up ensembles too, but homegrown. We're looking to get a marimba ensemble, a garifuna ensemble. We're looking for a Hispanic ensemble that can play the mariachis, and of course steel pan ensemble. So those are going to be our ensembles, and not only, for example, that ceremonial or marching band.
Thousands of persons are currently dependent on the Mountain Pine Ridge Forest Reserve for their livelihood, for water, for natural resources. But its value transcends just those who live in neighboring communities. Thousands more visit the area for recreational purposes, as well as for spiritual and cultural reasons. News 5's Wayne Moody takes a deeper look into the various ecological and economic benefits of the reserve. Here's that report.
It's the protagonist that sustains our lives and culture and carries huge economic and ecological benefits, but nature, especially how we value it, is something oftentimes taken for granted.
We have fresh air, we receive clean water in our homes, but we sometimes don't understand about why we're receiving these services, where are they coming from, how does it all work. So today it is to highlight these benefits, to understand, how these processes possibly work a little bit, and why we need to make sure that we play our part to ensure that we have them in the longer run.
Over 62% of the country is under some level of environmental protection, be that marine or terrestrial. These areas are nationally protected for the survival of the ecosystem, which critically provides goods and services to buffer communities. The Mountain Pine Ridge Forest Reserve is in Cayo District, 430 square kilometers in size. This nature reserve was designated back in 1944 to protect and manage the native Belizean pine forests. The road to the reserve has been paved recently, and there has been a boom in economic activities in the area. Vegetation is up and logging is actively happening, so the Forest Department is sharing its importance.
Did you know that the San Antonio community receives its water supply from the Mountain Pine Ridge Forest Reserve? So these are the very important benefits that we're receiving from this area, and we want the stakeholders, the buffer communities, to start appreciating them a little bit more.
Indigenous people have long been referred to as stewards of natural spaces, forests, and worlds. They believe in communing with the earth. The entrance to the Rio Frio Cave, located near the Douglas de Silva camp in the reserve, has a spiritual connection which is celebrated in the Maya culture.
In the beliefs and tradition or culture of Maya people, it is always important to acknowledge such sacred scape. It's very important. It's important because there's a use, a sacred use. For example, I want to give a little offering to nature, or to the cave, or to the waterways. I must come and humble myself and say, look, I am a gift to you and you're a gift to me. We should be able to understand that relationship. So I share by burning my incense for you to acknowledge how much this means to me, and in return you will be able to look at this gesture as a form of exchange in a very spiritual way.
The symbiotic relationship between nature and people is a key factor in sustainability, making sure that the carbon footprint as a result of increased tourism activity is at its minimum. There are a number of resorts located within the reserve, which provides a unique experience for tourists, specifically campers, nature buffs, and birders.
It's such a beautiful country, green, fresh air, nice ecosystems like where we are at the moment. It's pine forest, and also we have the rainforest not too far away like where we were, Rio Frio. It's limestone, good habitat for birds. And as you saw this morning, we did a little bit of birding with the school children, and that's good for the younger generation as well to learn and protect what we have for the future.
San Miguel Campgrounds, I opened about 3 years ago, but this used to be the main logging camp for Bull Ridge. We still use it as a logging camp. The old sawmills used to be here back in the day, but now I've turned this place into a place where Belizeans and tourists come here to recreate and enjoy the forest. Along with that, Bull Ridge, they do a lot of management practices such as silvicultural practices like prescribed burns. They do thinnings. We also have the new restoration project as well.
The experience includes educating visitors about the proper disposal of garbage and the impact of climate change to the area. That's where Bull Ridge Limited comes in. This logging company promotes trees as the most useful renewable natural resources and manages the Chicky-Bull Forest Reserve as well as the Mountain Pine Ridge Forest Reserve, two of the largest in the country. The area, however, was damaged by wildfires due to the rising temperatures. In its mission to maintain sustainable economic and environmental standards, Bull Ridge Limited has embarked on a reforestation project.
We decided in 2021 to start to help the forest regenerate, because if you don't have any trees, all the trees are destroyed by a big wildfire, then there's no seeds. And we decided to put together a nursery to basically restore that area. We are doing one species of pine because, as you may know, the mountain pine ridge is basically composed of only pine. Mm-hmm. We have two different pine species, which are Pinus caribea and Pinus spatula. So when you are trying to restore a forest ecosystem, you will want to restore it with the same kind of species that are already existing in that ecosystem. When you are doing sustainable logging, you're basically meeting the needs of the people while you're still conserving and protecting the natural ecosystem.
And in the spirit of giving back to the environment, the Forest Department has partnered with Bull Ridge Limited for replanting of 5 hectares in the Mountain Pine Ridge Forest Reserve.
Specifically in areas where the watershed runs into that area of water that the San Antonio community, they receive their water from. And it is just to ensure the quality of the water that the community receives.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, good night.